All right, Tucker, thank you so much for joining me on this BenSwan.com phone call. We're wanting to let people know about the situation of Joel Naselroad, and if you would, just please state your name and where you practice, how long you've practiced law.
My name is Tucker Richardson. I'm a criminal defense lawyer out of Lexington, Kentucky. I basically do all criminal defense. I'm past president of the Kentucky Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, and I've been practicing criminal defense for over 25 years now.
All right. And you've been representing Joel Naselroad ever since the incident on October 8, 2013, right?
That's correct. It's been my pleasure to represent them.
And what is his status at this time? He's currently in jail, serving a long sentence. How long is that sentence that he's serving?
He's serving a 120-day sentence for possession of marijuana and possession of drug paraphernalia.
Okay. And a lot of people reading this article are probably wondering, is there any investigation that went on that involved the shooter that was not wearing, an officer's, outfit while he was on Naselroad's property?
Well, what happened was they came to do what's commonly called a knock and talk, where they can knock on your front door and ask you if they can search your property. If you say no, they have to leave. If you say yes, then they can come on and search. Well, they got there, and when they knocked on the door, Joel happened to be going out the back door, and so they immediately saw, to their minds, a suspect fleeing, and he had no intent to flee them. He didn't even know they were there. And so they ran down there, and basically, because he had a weapon out, they told him to drop it and then shot him. Of course, they were undercover officers, as they explained at trial, and weren't required to wear any police identifiers. And I said, well, you weren't in an undercover capacity when you went to the Naselroad. You went way up to the front door and said, we're police. So that upset us greatly. But as soon as they shot him, they immediately handcuffed him, and within 4 hours had charged him with wanton endangerment for supposedly pointing a gun at the police officers, even though the gun was jammed and could not have fired at all. And so that was their whole investigation was centered on trying and convicting Joel Naselroad. And, of course, the officer, they might have given him a medal. I don't know. But certainly nothing was done to him. No investigation, no grand jury, no nothing about what his culpability was that afternoon.
Right, because there was never a shot fired by Joel Naselroad during the entire incident. And,
no.
It sounds like the shot that was fired by the police officer that fired was one that could have killed Joel. And in fact, it sounds like it almost did.
It almost did. He was in the hospital for 9 days. Right after the shooting, they airlifted him to the UK and put him in the hospital for 9 days. And then, to beat the band, they finally let his mom go. They won't let her go to him at the scene once he's been shot. Then they let her go up to, they airlift him away. They finally let them go, and they go to the hospital. They get there about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and about 30 minutes later, the police come in and say, okay, we're charging Joel Naselroad with wanton endangerment, a felony. We're arresting him at this point in the hospital. We'll have an armed guard here, and you all can't see him. And threw them out of the room. So the 9 days that he's laying in that hospital bed, he doesn't, shot by the police on his own property, he doesn't have the comfort of his family.
Well, that's
me off.
it's such a sad, thing that happened, and we, those of us that are part of BenSwan.com, we definitely, we can, it's heartbreaking, to us that are helping to get the word out about the story, and we know that the police officer that shot Joel was actually involved in another shooting in 2006. And he actually fired one shot at somebody that had been chased and killed that person with that one shot. And so there's going to be a lot of people out there that are wondering, why isn't there some sort of this is the real questions need to be put in front of this guy, in front of a grand jury, just because he's the one that's committed these acts of violence.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. There's a ton of questions. I haven't researched the prior incident. It was not admissible in trial, and my total focus was a criminal trial. So I did not investigate that prior shooting, but you can be daggone certain that I am going to be investigating what's going on with that prior shooting as we get ready for the civil litigation.
Okay. Now, if you would, just please describe to everybody what happened the day that the judge made a decision on this. You had expected that Joel was going to get let go on just probation, I think, if I remember right.
Well, what happened was they were very upset. We ended up working a deal out with the prosecutor because they wanted the guns. Well, we said, all right, we'll agree on a sentence of 120 days, and we'll get our argument for probation. And everybody was agreeing to that. Yeah, you'll have a chance to argue for probation. Well, we get there for the sentencing. The prosecutor says to me, we'll agree to probation if Joel gets on his medication, sees a mental health provider, and gets on medication for that. And then also if he will forfeit his right to own a firearm and forfeit his right to sue him. So I immediately went out and told the Naselroad, so this is the offer that they're making, that we can have probation. Well, the Naselroad said, no, what? We're not going to give up our right to sue. What has that got to do with probation? And Joel says, no, I'm not doing that. So we walk back in there, we go to probation, and the judge says basically that it's a long-standing policy of the court that if somebody has a jury trial and the jury finds them guilty, or if they enter a plea and take a recommended sentence, as we did, that they will basically they're going to do that time. And I'm going, this is my argument for probation. I was told I was going to get to have a policy. Nobody told me of a policy. In fact, the law requires that he, regardless of what the jury says, it's his obligation to evaluate the facts of the case, make a determination whether in any felony sentencing, and this is a misdemeanor, it's just possession of marijuana, possession of drug paraphernalia, he's required to evaluate whether to probate him would unduly depreciate the seriousness of the offense, no, or whether he's a danger to the community and basically reoffend. No, Joel supposedly had a 2001 marijuana possession charge in Colorado or Missouri. That was the only criminal record this 33-year-old man has. So the judge, I mean, he just basically said, I'm not following the law.
Right.
It's our long-standing policy that put him in jail. And so that's where he sits right now tonight, in jail.
Right. And most people go to BenSwan.com for their news wouldn't consider possession of marijuana as a crime at all. And so that's so it's very, it's incredible to us when we see the police brutality that happens around, people that have the plant on their property or who use it for medicinal or recreational purposes. And so
it's routinely a fine. Okay? It's routinely a fine. I can't think of a single incident in 25 years where my client has been sentenced to 120 days in jail to serve for possession of marijuana and possession of drug paraphernalia.
What is it like? I've read the letters that have been written by his father, his mother, his grandmother, and also a number of family friends that were posted on the article by the Kentucky Press. I mean, what are your thoughts on the family right now? I know his mother is suffering with brain cancer and had surgery, I believe, recently, and
yes.
his father has to work away from the home.
Well, they're tore up. You know, their son was shot, almost killed, arrested, put through the judicial ringer, has to go to trial in which he's found not guilty, and then having put in jail. They are upset.
It's it's a very, very sad circumstance, and a lot of people that are going to be listening to this are going to be wanting to know what can they do to help free Joel Naselroad from the jail that he's in.
Well, I think the main number one thing that all judges look at is public opinion, and the fact that he's in there. And if the outcry is great enough, I feel like the judge will relent and let him out of jail. There's also a fund for Joel for his medical expenses and legal expenses, and that's and I'm not sure the name of this.
Yeah, we'll post that. We'll be posting that.
Yeah, so they're just setting that up, and it's really the response to an article written by Sally O was just phenomenal here, and has really put the word out that this guy is really, literally feeling the brunt of the government oppression. And, you know, we live in a great country, but somewhere we've kind of lost it.
Well, Tucker, we're going to be doing our best to, cover this story, and we do thank you for your time. And
I appreciate it, Evan. Thank you very much.
All right.
And I appreciate the support of all the Ben Swan family out there to rally around Joel. And I know he and his family in these dark times really appreciate that support. So thank you all very much.
All right. Well, thank you, Tucker. We'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir. Bye now.